Hello and welcome to the Practical English Podcast. My name is Mike.
And I'm Angela. We're so glad you're here with us today. We've got a really useful topic lined up, especially if you've ever felt nervous about meeting new people.
That's right. Today we're tackling a big one. How to speak English on a first date without those dreaded awkward silences.
We've all been there. Your mind goes blank and you can't think of a single thing to say. It's stressful enough in your native language, let alone in English.
Exactly. But don't worry. Our goal in this episode is to give you the tools, the phrases, and most importantly, the confidence to have a natural, flowing conversation with someone new.
We're going to cover everything from conversation starters, questions that keep the chat going, and natural phrases that will make you sound friendly and engaged. We'll also have some real-life dialogue examples for you to practice with.
So get ready to listen, repeat, and practice. Let's dive in.
Okay, Mike, before we get into specific phrases, I think we need to talk about mindset. The pressure on a first date is huge. You want to be charming, funny, intelligent.
Oh, for sure. And when you're speaking a second language, that pressure doubles. You're worried about grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation. It's a lot to handle.
Exactly. So here is our most important tip for the entire episode. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Your goal is not to be interesting. Your goal is to be interested.
That is such a fantastic point, Angela. Let's repeat that. Your goal is not to impress them with how cool you are. It's to be curious about who they are.
Right. When you focus on being curious, it completely changes the dynamic. You stop worrying about yourself and start genuinely listening to the other person. And guess what? People love to talk about themselves.
It takes all the pressure off. You don't need to have amazing stories. You just need to ask good questions and listen to the answers. This is the foundation for avoiding awkward silences.
And remember, confidence comes from practice, not perfection. You will make mistakes, and that is perfectly okay. The goal is connection, not a perfect grammar score.
And it's not just about the words you use. Your body language plays a huge role. Leaning in slightly, making eye contact, nodding, these are universal signs that you're engaged and interested. It shows you're listening even if you're searching for the perfect English word. All right, with that mindset in place, let's get practical. The first 5 minutes of a date can set the tone, so having a few easy conversation starters is a great idea.
These are often called icebreakers. They're simple questions to break the ice and get the conversation warmed up.
Okay, a great place to start is your shared environment. Let's say you're at a coffee shop or a restaurant. Angela, what's a simple opener you could use?
Okay, here's an easy one. This place is great. Have you been here before?
Perfect. It's simple, it's related to what you're both experiencing, and it's a yes or no question that can easily lead to more conversation. If they say yes, you can ask, what's good here? If they say no, you can say, me neither. A friend recommended it.
Let's make this a practice moment for our listeners. We're going to say the phrase, and we want you to repeat it out loud. Ready? This place is great. Have you been here before?
Great. Okay, here's another classic opener that moves beyond the immediate surroundings. So, how's your week been?
I like that one because it's friendly and open. It lets the other person decide how much they want to share. They can say, good, pretty busy, or they might tell you a specific story about their week.
Exactly. It's a low-pressure way to start. Okay, listeners, your turn. Repeat after me. So, how's your week been?
Okay, one more great starter, and this one is good for getting to know their personality. So, what do you do for fun when you're not working?
Yes, this question is fantastic because it's about passions and hobbies. It's much more engaging than just asking, what do you do? Which is about work.
All right, let's practice it. Nice and clear. So, what do you do for fun when you're not working?
Okay, so you've broken the ice, but now comes the real challenge. Keeping the conversation going.
This is where our mindset of being interested becomes a superpower. The key to a great conversation is asking good follow-up questions.
Right. You don't just want to ask questions like an interviewer. You want to have a balanced, two-way exchange. The best follow-up questions are usually open-ended. They start with words like what, how, or why.
Let's do a quick role play to show what we mean. Mike, I'll be on the date. Ask me what I do for fun.
Okay. So, Angela, what do you do for fun when you're not working?
I really enjoy hiking.
Now, a conversation-killing response would be, oh, cool. And then silence.
Yes, the dreaded, oh, cool. Instead, you need to dig a little deeper with a follow-up question. For example, Mike could ask,
Oh, that's interesting. What do you like about it? That question is great because it asks about feelings and motivations. Another good one would be, wow, any favorite trails you'd recommend? This is more specific and practical.
or you could ask about the origin story. That's cool. How did you first get into hiking? People often have great stories about how they discovered their passions.
Let's practice those 3 excellent follow-up questions. Listeners, repeat each one after us. First one, what do you like about it?
Okay, number 2, any favorite trails you'd recommend?
And the third one, how did you first get into it?
Excellent. See how those questions open the door for a much longer, more detailed answer? That's your goal.
Now, let's do a shadowing exercise. Shadowing is when you listen to a native speaker and then repeat what they say as closely as possible. It's amazing for improving your pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence.
Okay, Mike and I are going to have a short conversation. The first time, just listen. The second time, I want you to speak Mike's lines along with me. The third time, you'll speak my lines along with me. Ready? Here's the conversation.
So, you mentioned you moved here last year. How are you finding the city so far?
Oh, I love it. It's so different from my hometown. There's always something new to do. Last weekend, I checked out the Modern Art Museum.
That's awesome. I haven't been there in a while. What was your favorite part?
Definitely the sculpture garden. It was so peaceful. How about you? Are you a big museum person?
Okay. Now, let's do it again. This time, try to say my lines with me. Let's go. So, you mentioned you moved here last year. How are you finding the city so far?
Oh, I love it. It's so different from my hometown. There's always something new to do. Last weekend, I checked out the Modern Art Museum.
That's awesome. I haven't been there in a while. What was your favorite part?
Definitely the sculpture garden. It was so peaceful. How about you? Are you a big museum person?
Fantastic. Now, switch. Let's do the conversation one more time. And you say my lines with me. Ready? So, you mentioned you moved here last year. How are you finding the city so far?
Oh, I love it. It's so different from my hometown. There's always something new to do. Last weekend, I checked out the Modern Art Museum.
That's awesome. I haven't been there in a while. What was your favorite part?
Definitely the sculpture garden. It was so peaceful. How about you? Are you a big museum person?
Great work. Shadowing can feel strange at first, but it's one of the best ways to improve your fluency.
Okay, now that we've covered starting conversations and keeping them going, let's build your phrase bank with some natural English phrases that show interest and help you connect.
Right. These are the little expressions that make your conversation feel less like an interview and more like a friendly chat.
First, let's focus on phrases to show you are actively listening and engaged. When your date tells you something interesting, you can say, "That sounds fascinating."
Or a simpler version is, that's so interesting. Your tone of voice is very important here. You have to sound genuinely curious.
Let's practice that one. Imagine you've just heard a cool story. Repeat after me with energy. That sounds fascinating.
Another great phrase that invites some to say more is, tell me more about that.
Yes, it's a direct and very effective invitation. It shows you're not just waiting for your turn to speak. Let's practice. Tell me more about that.
Okay, now, what about when you want to share something about yourself? You need to connect their story to your own experience. A great way to do this is with the phrase, that reminds me of...
Right. So if they talk about a trip to Italy, you could say, oh, that reminds me of a trip I took to Spain a few years ago. It creates a bridge between your experiences.
Let's try that one. Repeat, that reminds me of...
Another phrase for finding common ground is, I can totally relate to that. This shows empathy and that you understand their feeling or experience.
It's a very warm and connecting phrase. If someone says they get nervous before presentations, you could say, oh, I can totally relate to that. My hands get so shaky.
Time to practice. Repeat after us. I can totally relate to that.
Using these small phrases makes a conversation a dance, back and forth, instead of a Q&A session.
Okay, Mike, we have to talk about the biggest fear of all. The moment the conversation stops, the awkward silence.
Dun, dun, dun. Yes, the thing everyone wants to avoid. But the first thing to remember is that a short pause is not a disaster. It's completely normal.
That is so true. Sometimes a moment of silence just means both people are thinking or just taking a breath. Don't feel like you have to fill every single second with words.
But if a pause does start to feel a little too long and you feel the panic rising, it's good to have an emergency question ready to go.
I like that. Emergency question. A great one is something completely new. You can even acknowledge the change of topic by saying, "So, changing gears for a second."
Yes, changing gears is a fantastic phrase. It means, let's talk about something different. It makes the transition smooth.
Let's practice that transition phrase. Repeat, "So, changing gears for a second."
And after you say that, you can ask a broad, positive question. For example, what's something you're really looking forward to right now?
That's a brilliant question. It can be about a trip, a project, a concert, anything. It gets people talking about something that makes them happy and excited.
Let's practice the full emergency sequence. Repeat after us. So, changing gears for a second. What's something you're really looking forward to right now?
Another good one is about entertainment. You could ask, have you seen any good movies or read any interesting books lately?
That's always a reliable topic. Almost everyone has an opinion on a recent movie, TV show, or book. It's an easy way to find a shared interest.
Having one or two of these general, all-purpose questions in your back pocket can make you feel so much more relaxed because you know you have a safety net.
Well, Angela, we've covered a lot of ground today, from the right mindset to specific phrases and emergency questions.
We have. I think the biggest takeaway for our listeners should be this. A great conversation isn't a performance. It's about connection.
I completely agree. It all comes back to that first point we made. Be interested, not interesting. Focus on listening, being curious, and asking thoughtful follow-up questions.
And please be kind to yourself. Speaking English on a first date is a brave thing to do. Your date will likely be impressed by your skills and your effort. Don't let the fear of making a small mistake stop you from making a great connection.
That's the perfect note to end on. Remember, practice is everything. Go back and listen to the phrases, do the shadowing exercises, and maybe even practice answering the questions yourself in front of a mirror.
You've got this.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Practical English Podcast. We'll see you next time.